I think we're a half step past feudalism in the world. That's how I see our political situation at the moment. A half step. Not like we've taken a half step, like a step that was half as big as normal. No, like we're more like we're frozen in time and one foot is swinging in the air. It's over the threshold. But it's not landed outside of feudalism yet. And the other foot, our rear foot, is still solidly in feudalism. That's how I feel. These non-violent and violent revolutions that have gotten us democracy, they leave in place organizations that are still very much, like the previous organizations. Judicial systems that are just like previous organizations. Attitude towards social services and the rest. Just like the previous institutions, more or less. And we have a differing degree of concern. It's almost like with our democracies right now, we've tried to make monarchies and guarantee that they'll be benevolent. Now, how do we put our foot down outside of this feudalistic mindset is all up to us. It's up to our attitudes. We're the problem now. The people are the problem. We need to have attitudes where we don't seek leaders and seek to place ourselves in hierarchical organizations. And it's becoming easier and easier. And again, here we see that the half word nature of this, in that a lot of people understand, free speech and the right to self-autonomy, personal sovereignty, when it comes to people more powerful than themselves. But they don't extend this to the people less powerful than themselves. To the people less powerful than themselves, they rely on all the same old things that the ruling class has relied on for ages in terms of property and who's creating wealth and all of this kind of rhetoric. And if you wonder what I'm talking about, just consider, just think about it. Look at all the private organizations. A private organization, you can set it up however you like. And how many private organizations do you know, private companies, going concerns, that have democracy or have ownership in the workforce? Few to none. Okay, and that's the world I think we need to go to. A world where your labor is part of your stock ownership in a company. So, I imagine there could be capitalist owners as well, that people that just contributed capital to start the business going. But if you contribute your labor, you also are a part owner of that enterprise in some sense. And obviously that's not the system we have. And I don't really want to see it as a forced thing. And again, this is why it comes back to people. People have to have this different attitude where people want to see freedom among those less powerful than themselves, just as much as they want to see those more powerful than them not interfere with their personal rights. I see a future world like this, that if we don't stumble, if we manage to complete this step, one foot will be outside of feudalism and the other foot still inside feudalism. But we'll just be moments away from pulling that foot up and swinging it forward and being free of feudalism forever. I think this is possible. In a world like that, you would have basically anything that would claim to govern you or be a government would be illegal. It would be illegal based on statutes like RICO law, like the RICO statutes. But of course, for anything to be illegal, we'd still have to have an infrastructural organization that would have at least one function, the security and ability, the security responsibility and the ability to enforce it. So I see that the governing, the sovereignty-oriented problems of our current government dissolving away and leaving in place an infrastructural organization where we share our common infrastructure still and where our rights are secured. Part of that infrastructure is security, law enforcement type functionality. So that's the way I see the current situation. I do think the odds are we will complete this step, and we are going in the right direction, and we have an attitude about where we need to go. And I think we'll complete this step. But a lot depends on us, and it's a interesting metaphor actually, because really what would stop you in mid-step from completing a step? Stumbling. And what would cause you to stumble? I don't know, being distracted possibly, thinking too many thoughts at once. You know how people get flustered, you can get tongue-tied, you can trip over your own shoelaces, and this kind of thing could happen to us because it's all up to us. Do we have the right attitude to set this foot down in a world where we are not just part of command and control hierarchies, where we actually not only are given the personal responsibility of our own sovereignty and our own autonomy, but we are actually worthy of that, and are responsible with that power and ability. So again, I'm optimistic that we will complete this, but we're definitely a ways away. And at any rate, that sort of summarizes how I see our political situation in the world right now. It's a half step past feudalism. The mark of slavery is still strongly upon our society, and we need to progress in our personal philosophies and become a little bit more enlightened and along the path of realizing what's really going on around us and in this world, in order to take even the next, to complete even the step that we are in right now. And I think we will. Cheers.